Well, this is Jessica, who's the granddaughter of the guy you saw holding the ropa, the laundry basket. Thanks. And I just thought that was a good slide to start with. Okay, so now it's my turn. Some of the things that I want to talk to you about tonight, and this is a picture of San Lorenzo. This is typical housing on the edge of the water. I want to tell you what we do at the clinic, share with you a couple of things that are new since the last time we talked, share with you a few of our needs, some of the goals that we have, some challenges we face that are a little different. I mean, we all have challenges. Anybody who's in medicine has challenges, but some of them are a little different down there. And then, as always, I like to share with you some of our patients. First, I want to remind you where we are. Ecuador is not in Africa. It's in South America. And some people aren't sure where it is, and that's okay. Ecuador is in the northwest part of South America. We're bordered to the north by Colombia and to the south by Peru. This is Ecuador. Ecuador is basically divided into 4 geographical areas. There is the eastern jungles. The Andes Mountains run through the center of the country. There is the coast, which is on the Pacific, and then the 4th area are the Galapagos Islands, which belong to Ecuador as well. San Lorenzo, it's not labeled, but I'm going to see if I can get this to... San Lorenzo is located in the northernmost part of the country in the province of Esmeraldas. Right up there, we are just adjacent to the Colombian border, and we're on the coast, as I said, which is the Pacific coast. San Lorenzo has a population of about 30,000 people, and it's probably most known for its poverty and its violence. And I was looking at these slides with Leanne, and she said that the slides don't really do San Lorenzo justice because you can't appreciate the heat, the humidity, or the dust, but it will at least give you an idea of, I mean, it's always better when you can picture something, you know, and this will give you a little better idea of what San Lorenzo is like. This is the main road access into San Lorenzo. This is one of the main streets in downtown San Lorenzo. This is part of the market area. This is kind of the equivalent of a soda stand, where they have sodas and grilled sandwiches. This is the biggest grocery in San Lorenzo. This is the mayor's house. This is where we buy when we're able to be doing construction projects. What we can get in San Lorenzo, we get from this place. Not everything is available in San Lorenzo, but this is another area of the market where they sell fish. And these are just things that are commonly sold, bought and sold. Coconut, green banana, plátano, or plantain. And all this is fish and bleach. This is another common way of washing clothes. Most women in San Lorenzo don't have washers, so they wash in the river. This is just one of the little girls who was helping her mother wash clothes. And this is just on the way home. All this is sugar cane back here. A lot of the fruit is brought in from other parts of the country. And that's the common way it's brought in, just in the back of a little pickup truck. Now, the other main way to get to San Lorenzo is by water. And this is the pier in San Lorenzo. There are a lot of, out that way, there are a lot of small towns, some of which belong to Ecuador and some of which belong to Colombia. This is the most commonly used transport, these somewhat small boats that run on outboard motors. And unfortunately, that's a common thing that's transported. That's all beer. And So these take people and cargo back and forth. And this is a Colombian lady arriving with part of her family and getting her things packed on a tricycle to go into town. One thing that's been difficult for us recently is the availability of gasoline for cars, because gasoline is used in processing of drugs. And so recently, these people will show up at the gas station with these 10 or 20 gallon containers, and instead of seeing a big long line of cars at the gas station, you see this big long line of people with a couple big 20 gallon containers, and a lot of them from Colombia. So they get the gas and then take it back for drug processing, and you couldn't get gas for the car. It's a little better than it was. And these guys aren't necessarily using this gasoline for drugs, but I don't know what they got it for. And you can see again the housing behind on the water. And this is what you see there. The tree line that you see isn't Colombia, but that's the way to Colombia. And in one of those small boats, you can get to Colombia in maybe half an hour. And fishing, because we're on the coast, fishing is a common way that a lot of men earn a living. Some in boats this small, some in bigger boats. And this is just one of the roads leaving San Lorenzo. Again, washing in the river. This is one of Angelita's daughters and grandchildren. And so you'll see this commonly, young kids selling fish in the street. And actually, we were taking our employees home one day in the car and saw this kid, and he was selling fish. This lady was sitting out on the kind of on her porch, and I'd taken her gallbladder out about 4 days earlier. So she was buying fish, and so we stopped and made a post-op visit in the street. And she kind of pulled her gown down so I could see her incision, and had our post-op visit.